Hello my dudes, welcome back to Shogun Minecolonies, welcome back to Shinjuku. So a massive apology, there was no video on Monday, but we're back now in Minecolonies in Shinjuku, and there's a couple of things we want to take care of. There's a building that we've wanted to build for quite some time to get us some of the really important resources we need to build most of the buildings on the colony. And that's right, that's going to be the Plantation. So strap yourselves in my friends, and let's jump in. Now I want to hit the ground running with this episode. I really want to just get started straight up with the Plantation. So we're going to go straight over here to our computer and build the buildings. So the way the Plantation works is it's a lot like the farm building, which is pretty simple. You build the Plantation building, and that's a pretty simple one, and then you build decorational fields around the outside. So here we are, there's the Plantation, a pretty simple build. We have the cactus, luckily, thanks to that farm. But as you can see here, there's also the Plantation field building. Okay, very cool. Now we're going to need a bunch of these. We're going to need one for cactus. We're going to need one for sugarcane. We're going to need one for bamboo. And that's where we'll stop. There's a whole bunch of other things we can grow at the Plantation. Cocoa beans for one. And yeah, there's a couple of others that we'll look at as well. Yeah, do you know what? Actually, let's just make a whole bunch of these, because we're going to need loads and loads and loads of plantation fields. Now we're going to need a really big empty space. In a perfect world, I think I would have put the Plantation over here by our farms, by our forester, and by our composter's hut, because it's an agricultural building that should go in our agricultural area. But again, the big problem is we don't actually have that much space out here. And the Plantation is definitely and easily the biggest agricultural building you're going to have to build. The Plantation itself is quite small, but it's the fact that you need so many fields around the Plantation that means it demands so much space. And do you know what? That's actually like the real problem of building on this plateau. It does mean that we are really constricted for space. If you choose a nice big piece of flat land to build your colony, you're going to have so many fewer problems that we're having over here on Shogun. But the flip side is, the city on a plateau does look really, really cool. But anyway, that is why we are coming over to the lower city. I mean, it's not ideal because this is mostly going to be production, but the Plantation is going to have to live somewhere over here. But you know what, my dudes? I'm kind of thinking that this big area up here can be all production, and we do also have segregated down here a nice big flat area. Yeah, take a look at this. I mean, there's going to be loads of room here for the best and most amazing plantation we could possibly build. But before we do anything, we have to see what the Plantation looks like, so let's give it a go. So here we are, a nice big piece of flat land. We're going to agriculture, it's in horticulture, and it is the Plantation. So yeah, take a look at this thing. This is actually a really cool looking building. It's a bit more basic than I thought. Also, it's a very square building. Previously, I've had plantations that are a lot more elaborate, but this is only level 1. Let's take a look at level 2. Okay, a bit bigger, and I don't think that was actually the front, so we'll swivel it around. And there we go, that looks much more like the front. Okay, what about level 3? Oh yeah, very cool. Level 4. Same but more decorative. Whoa, look at that moss, looks really cool. And of course, the top level Plantation, level 5, does look amazing. But again, I don't think this is the front. Where's the entrance to the actual building? Is it there? Man, do you know what? I actually have no idea. So before we get going on the Plantation, what will be really good for us is to know what the fields look like. So finding these can be quite tricky, but they're tucked away in infrastructure, under fields, and then Plantation. Now, as you can see, there's actually room for 8 different plantation fields. The big ones for us are going to be bamboo, cactus, sugar. There's an alternative sugar that could be good, but those 3 are the most essential. So let's take a look at bamboo to start with. Okay, right. So as you can see, this plantation field looks a bit more like a retaining wall. Very interesting. So my theory is that you can kind of match these fields up to create a kind of plateau where you put all of your fields. Let's take a look at another one. The cactus. Oh yeah, again, and it gets this weird little wall. Well, that's really good to know, so let's keep going. And the last really important one that we want to build is sugar. Oh yeah. Now also, what's really important is that with the plantation, you're not locked to one field per resource. For example, we need loads of bamboo for our mine, so we're going to want to build multiple bamboo fields, and you can do that, there is no limit. The plantation can, in theory, only farm one field per level. But if we put the plantation building down again, get it to level 3, and take a look around, we're likely going to find that there's multiple plantation blocks. Here's one. And I'm thinking it might be upstairs. Let's lower this so we can get a better look. No, there's a residence. Oh, okay, so there's only one plantation build at level 3. Yeah, okay, that's very weird. So at level 4, there is still only one plantation block. But you know what? That's actually fine. What we can actually do, I think what might be a good idea, is to build 2 plantations. These aren't actually very big buildings, and I think they'll look quite good if we put them next to each other over by the wall. So let's line them up into position and get them built. But before we place this building down, let's take a look and make sure that the plantation doesn't exist inside any already existing buildings. Yeah, okay, and a quick look shows us that the Shogun style only has one instance of the plantation. So yeah, there's nothing to worry about. It's not hidden inside any other building. Well, let's get both of these mapped out, and I'll join you guys for the time lapse when we can watch the plantation go up. The plantation from the Shogun style. Now, it's really important to get this building built much earlier than I have if you're building Shogun, because Shogun style uses so much bamboo, paper, and also cactus, and those are 3 things that you can only really get at the plantation. The reason why it's taken us so long to build these buildings is because actually gathering these things manually is pretty simple. Sugarcane can be spammed in long fields, likewise same for cactus if you use snad. And bamboo is probably the easiest of all of them. It grows so quickly, it's insane. But I guess that's kind of like it is in real life. Anyway, yeah, it is still important because we're going to want to automate it so we don't have to run around and get our builders all of the little bits they need to build their buildings. Now, the buildings are pretty simple to go up. There was a little bit of a tricky requirement for these builds. All of the roofs, and there's a lot of them, require moss blocks to make these mossy cobblestone extra bricks. But there is a pretty cool technique for getting more moss, which I'll show you guys after this is built, for any of you that don't know how. But yeah, the buildings have gone up pretty quick. Honestly, they're okay looking. What is slightly frustrating is the level 1 building lies about where the front entrance is, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a little bit. But I've never had 2 builders be so in sync with their builds. These guys built at almost exactly the same speed and finished almost exactly at the same time. That's very impressive for a building of this size. Now, obviously we want to get this up from level 1 straight away to level 2. I was going to go to 3, but the materials were a little bit tricky, and as you can see, the main entrance for level 2, it's on the side, so we might be turning these buildings around at a later date. But they still work as they are, so let's get in game and plant down some fields. So here we go, my dudes, we're at the plantation, and it's time to put down some fields. Now, the most important ones we're going to want are obviously cactus, paper, and bamboo, so that's what we're going to focus on first. Let's take a look and see if we can match these up. So my loose thinking for this is we'll start with the bamboo, because that's probably the most important one. And what we're going to do is we're going to maneuver this around so it kind of creates for us a bit of a natural wall. We can shimmy this along so it touches against that wall over there and just have a whole bunch of fields out the front of the plantation. Then once we run out of room, we can stagger it down and have another terrace that's a little bit lower, because in theory, once these buildings are up to level 5, we'll be able to do 10 fields. That's way more than we're going to need, but we do need a lot to get going with, and that's why we built 2 plantations. So bamboo number 1, tick the box. The materials are obviously very easy to make. We'll set Sakura on this and press build building. Now we're going to equip the builder's goggles so we can see where exactly this building lies. There we go. And that's going to make placing the next field really, really simple as well. So we've got bamboo. Now we're going to do cactus. If it matches up, because of the way these fields work, sometimes when we put them together, they might not line up. That looks okay. There's a bit of like a gap there, but I think that should be good. And we'll pull the trigger on that one. Boom. Again, same materials, very simple. We'll get EVBEX on this one. Last but not least, it's sugar and sugar alt. Now, the alt sounds kind of interesting, so I want to check that out, see what that looks like. Let's see if I can get a bit of a bird's eye view to make building this easier. Here we go. This is about as good as we can do, but let's line it up and see how this fits in, because it should be okay. Oh my god, yeah, this fits like a glove. But what is sugar alt? That could be interesting. So, sugar alt. Maybe this gets more sugar? Okay, no, it looks kind of the same, actually, wow. But it makes positioning much easier with that cobblestone over there, as you can see. Yeah, that lines up perfectly, so that's the one we're going to choose. We'll get Sakura to build that, and there we go, we have 3 plantation fields in the mix. Oh yeah, this is going to be perfect. So 2 plantations, 2 fields per level of plantation. We've got room for 1 more field. So here is the big question. What do we think is going to be the most important field to put down as our 4th and final field for now? So the nether field, I believe, is where you get nether wart. That's not going to be super important for us right now. Likewise, glowberries could be good, but I think really the next most important one is cocoa. You might be thinking, well, why is cocoa important? That sounds a bit, wrong. But the truth is, cocoa beans are hands down the best way to get brown dye. Now we're going to have to do some manual filling in of the corner here because there isn't a corner field segment. Or is there? Are any of these fields corners? That would be a clever way of getting around this. So the ocean field is, oh, whoa, that looks really cool. But do we need that? Do we want that? I mean, maybe we do. I think that might be for kelp. The glowberries field is kind of like a corner, but it's an outside corner. So, oh my god, something just blew up. Hope everybody's okay. Oh my god, lots of people are blowing up. I hope they're all okay. But yeah, so what about the last one? We've looked at all of them except nether now. Is this going to be... No, again, this isn't really a corner. So we're going to stick to our guns, go back to cocoa, and that should be pretty good. Get that locked in, put, I guess, is it Sakura, Eevee, Sakura, Eevee now. The material's very simple as well, so that all looks perfect. So while we're waiting for those builders to get going with what they're going with. So while we wait for those builders to get going, let's take a look at the plantation and see what kind of things we can do here. So manage workers, oh yeah, well we're gonna need some more dudes. That's pretty clear right now. But we can still look at how this works. So as you can see, fields, it works the same way as a farm does. You can set it to automatic or you can set it to manual, and the plantation worker will go out and work those fields. As for settings, there's a recipe mode. Please research warehouse master to unlock this. Oh, that could be interesting, recipe mode. So okay, why didn't we get the plantation to level 3? Well, let me go over to build options and I'll show you. So we don't have enough green cactus extra. We could have made it. It wouldn't have been a problem. But the big thing that we're missing is the red mushroom block. Whoa, I mean, I haven't needed much of this, so I have no idea where to find that. We'll have to work out the best way to get that. Everything else is really just wood, paper, cactus, or a quick trip into the nether, so we'll leave it for now. We need to find a way to get those red mushroom blocks. But let's have a sleep, head back to camp, and I'm going to see if I can work out a way to get moss on farm. So we have some mossy blocks in the computer, I'm fairly sure. Let's have a look. Moss, here we go. Now moss is integral for making mossy cobble and mossy stone brick. As you can see here, press U, and it's how you do it. Mossy cobblestone. You can also use vines, but we've been using moss because it's very simple to do. So moss is very simple to get if you don't mind messing up your terrain a bit. Also, it can be used as a really good decoration tool. Let's say, for example, we want to decorate this area next to the entrance to the subway over here. So we'll just remove that block there because that's a bit messy. We're going to put a mossy block here. Then we're going to bone meal that mossy block. And bam, all the area around has become mossy block. This overwrites the grass and it becomes moss. So we can use Ultimine to dig it all up. And bam, we've got 20 more moss blocks. Now you're going to want to probably replace this with dirt. You can keep the moss because I think it's a pretty good look. It can replace grass and it looks pretty discreet as well. But it's also a good way, if I get the bone meal out again, of getting azalea bushes as well. So with moss you can get azalea. You don't need an azalea to get more azaleas. But it can be a bit of an ordeal because bone meal can be quite tricky to get. We've been using a composter to just compost all of our leaves, but there is a way we can automate that quite well. Much in the same way we have our barrel over here that's auto-feeding to the furnace that then smelts up all the things we want to smelt up. We can do the same thing over here with a composter. So let's see if we can give that a go. We're going to get a composter. Just a vanilla one from Minecraft should do the job. We're also going to need a couple of barrels. I might have a couple of these left over. Oh my god, I do. 2 spruce iron barrels. That is perfect. And now what we're going to do is we're going to place one barrel here, one barrel here, the composter in the middle, and we're almost good to go. Now we're going to need a bit of a hopper upgrade, so I think we can make those. I might actually have some left over. No, but making these is fairly simple. The hopper upgrade. We'll need a hopper, probably 2. We'll need some upgrade bases. Again, probably 2. There we go, the second base, and we should be good to go. 2 hopper upgrades, exactly what we need. We plug these hopper upgrades into these barrels, like that, and like that. Actually, I don't think we needed 2, but we've got 2, so there we go. So now we want to actually use the composter. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can get some of those petals. Look at this. We've got thousands and thousands of pink petals, and luckily enough, oh my god, why is there a bee in here? You okay, dude? Well, stay easy, stay chill. Luckily enough, you can use petals in a composter. So if we put them in here, yeah, they're automatically hopping down into that composter. What that means is the composter will make them into bone meal, and down the bottom, oh yeah, perfect. We have bone meal. We're not locked to pink petals, of course. We can put things like hemp seeds, wheat seeds, any of those agricultural messy things that we've been picking up while we clear out for our builders can go in here, but obviously the pink petals are a really good place to start. But there we go, that is bone meal automated. We can come back here whenever we need more moss, and that's how we're getting mossy cobblestone. Now, we're going to want to hire some plantation workers. To do that, we're going to need to hire some more dudes from the tavern. To do that, we're going to need to get some more gold. So, my dudes, I think it's time to go mining. So we've had some troubles with the mini-map. It keeps flashing, and I imagine any of you guys that have noticed that, that's probably quite annoying. And if you haven't noticed it before, well, you're definitely going to notice it now. So we're going to turn off our mini-map because we don't really need to see the mini-map for the most part. we're kind of good to go. Anyway, a massively successful mining trip. Check it out, loads and loads and loads of resources. I'm going to get these smelted up, but I noticed something. I've got a Chief Barbarian trophy. I guess we killed the chief enough times to get a trophy, and I can wear this on my head. Oh, he's back to front as well. Yeah, so it's a choice, I guess, if you want to. We actually don't. We don't want to wear this. But you know what? There it is. Maybe we can put it down as like, you know, a statement that we killed loads of barbarians. Let's try and put it here. Yeah, there we go. It's pretty out of place. We'll find a better place for this trophy. But for now, there we go. Chief Barbarian trophy. So I'm going to get these smelted up into bars, and then we can start recruiting some dudes. Also, let's go over to the clipboard and start ticking off some of these things that we've already built. So we built the mechanics hut. That's part of the residence. Likewise, the sifter is... well, no, we haven't built it yet, so we won't do that. The Fletcher we did, though. That's okay. The cookery we did, because that's inside the residence. And also, almost most importantly, we'll know we got the Enchanter's Tower too. We'll take a look at that in a bit. But yeah, there we go, the plantation. So we're going through these pretty effectively. Anyway, let's get that gold and recruit some dudes. Oh yes, my friends, absolutely dripping in gold. Let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, absolutely plenty, with more smelting up even still. So, Miracerius Sin, 49 gold, but we can afford you. Welcome to the crew. Likewise, Gohaku Raznik, you are going to join as well, only 33. That's good. Over here we've got Ambriel Festa. Oh, I haven't seen an Ambriel for a while. Welcome to the colony, and is there anybody else knocking around? Yeah, there's somebody over there. Let's go and see who this guy is. What are you doing in the residence, man? Navigating through these things can be a bit of a nightmare, but... oh, it's Dusk Douglas. Welcome to the crew. Boom. Amazing. Now we also have... wait, there's somebody else wandering around. That'd be the 5th guy wandering around. I didn't know the tavern could get that many fresh new dudes. Or maybe you just arrived. No, it's Jordan Letho.
Great to see you.
So, Jordan, wait, where'd you go? There we go, Jordan Letho. Welcome to the crew as well. Now, has anybody else arrived? Oh yeah, more people are arriving as we're recruiting dudes. Oh man, we might as well be able to spend all of our gold now because I've updated the names list. Once again, if you want to join the colony, you can become a YouTube member or a Patreon member, add your name to the names list, and there's a chance you'll appear here, but it looks like as soon as we recruit a dude, another one's arriving. So we're going to get as many of these guys in as we can. Random Drusk, why not? All of the names that you've submitted so far are in the list, so there is a chance you guys will appear. Nobody has stolen any gold yet, which is always good news. But it looks like for now, the tavern has kind of dried up. There's no more fresh dudes. Well, let's go and recruit some plantation workers. Here we go. Now, it's a long old trek. I didn't explain this, but yeah, I think it's kind of obvious. We put down this dirt stairway here because the builders were getting really stuck on these walls trying to get around. So I think this is probably where we're going to put the staircase to get down to the plantation anyway. Whoa, oh wow. So it looks like our builders have been hard at work while we've been mining and doing other things. Okay, we'll have to make sure they have the bits to finish this, but it's good to know they're hard at work. So plantation number 1. Manage workers, and who's got good stats for this? Ah, yeah, looks like Dusk Douglas has 20 and 20. That's pretty much the dream stats. Those are her two, well, not quite her 2 best stats, but they're pretty good. We'll get you in as a plantation worker, and over on this side, the plantation worker number 2 is gonna be... ooh, I think probably Jordan Letho. He's got the best stats for this. So we'll get them over here. What do you guys look like? Oh, whoa, these guys wear flowers in their hair. But don't go running off to San Francisco just yet. We need you guys to work the fields. Now, obviously, they won't work any fields yet because we haven't built any. So we should probably make sure our builders have what they need to get these plantation fields built. Now, before we end this episode, Kaito mentioned something about Yakuza in the onsen. Now, I think he's talking out of his butt because... what does he mean? Yakuza in the onsen. Maybe he's just spooked. But let's go take a look. Oh yeah, look at those guys down there. They definitely look like Yakuza. They don't really look like feudal Yakuza because I think that guy's wearing a suit. And one of them has an eye patch, which usually spells bad business. Oh man, well I don't want to confront them yet. But I know they're here, so I guess we'll leave them to it. They haven't caused any problems just yet. They're just enjoying the onsen. And we did say this is a Yakuza-friendly onsen. So if they're chill guys, I'm happy to let them remain. Anyway, let's go and have a drink with Kaito. Ah, Kaito, how's it going? So I took a look over at the onsen. Like you suggested, I saw those Yakuza dudes, but they don't seem to be causing a problem, so I don't know what you're worried about.
They are dishonorable criminals. You should keep an eye on them at least.
Yeah, okay, I hear what you're saying. Anyway, yeah, today we built the plantation. It's pretty cool. Do you have a haiku for us? Perhaps to celebrate building the plantation where we get the cactus, the bamboo, and the sugarcane?
Silent shoots emerge, stretching toward the golden sun. Patience turns to strength.
As always, beautiful words from Kaito. Now, obviously, we need to decorate the area near the plantation and get those fields built. Also, probably build a staircase to go down so that the workers can get to there because at the moment, it's real tricky getting down there. Anyway, a massive thank you for watching, my dudes. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And until next episode, take care.